Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, deprivation, survival, natural disasters, and violence. Listener discretion advised. In addition, these next few episodes of the show contain cultural and historical content based upon the peoples of Asia and the Far East. We are coming at this from a place of respect and genuine interest and a love of these cultures, places, and history. We may not get it 100% right all the time, and we ask you to bear with us and give us the benefit of the doubt, and we would let us know when we get it wrong. We want to be an ally in dispelling Orientalism that has affected the Asian and Middle Eastern communities around the world. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I am Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Chini, and I am playing Tochi Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Ricci.
Hi, I'm Eric Chalk, and I will be guesting in as Ide Minato.
Let's play some L5R in the Burning Sands.
Meanwhile, down in the canyon floor below, with rocks that start to creak and rumble, the small pebbles that carry on that herald the beginning of the fall of the mighty boulder that Gen has let loose. Ricci and Minato start to realize what's going to happen, and it's just a matter of trying to get the last bits of the caravan and the scragglers out past the mouth of the canyon and into the safety of the walls behind it.
Yeah, so Ricci at this point is just kind of waving people along through the canyon, just going, go, go, move, move.
As you kind of move back and forth with your horse, directing people, swatting animals on their flanks here and there. You have Hayate doing the same from where he's riding with his newfound paramour, and you all start to get everyone moving. Minato is doing his best to organize with those that he knows on a much more personal level, making sure that he can extol them with what will truly get them to be motivated, cajoling those who need it, pushing those who can, in just the right way. And it's not long before you get the caravan moving a little bit faster here and there, and you start to see the evening sun that has started to descend out on the dunes that you have just passed through on the sand road, start to be blocked out by the tumbling rocks, the falling debris that comes down, and dust is being kicked up, and it's starting to choke your lungs and sting the eyes as it all comes just crashing down, and just in a huge just uh, gout of sand and wind just biting at your flesh, reminding you of the times when you first arrived here in the Burning Sands. So it just kind of comes whipping down and scours the carts and the walls of the canyon here in a thunderous crash, just deafening at first, and finally it's just a almost like the plinking of rain with the last bits of rock that come tumbling down. But at this point, you're sealed off. You have made it past the mouth of the canyon here, and it's been sealed off by this well, what almost feels like a heaven sent landslide. All of a sudden, in the stillness of the moment afterwards, Sueno just starts kind of with a jolt from where she was and just yells out, "Again!" And she's on top of all of that. She's still there.
What? How?
I don't know, but I, I I feel it. I know she's out there, and she starts just running towards sealed off mouth of the canyon to where the rocks and the boulders and the debris have uh, set you apart from the rest of the burning sands and away from the Emir soldiers.
Sueno, it's too dangerous. You can't do that.
And she starts to scramble up this new escarpment, and with it kind of tearing at her hands and her clothes, she starts to scramble up, and she says, "No, you don't understand. She's dying up there. We're losing her."
If she fell from that height, there's no way that she could have survived. You're gonna die. This is not what she would want.
And she kind of turns to you and she says, "So what? You're just going to abandon your friend?"
Of course not. But there's nothing that we can do.
Is that what they taught you? To just turn your back on those in need and in pain, those who are dying? That what now that you've gotten a taste of command, you're willing to just sacrifice anyone, even your friends, as pawns in your game?
No, they taught us to be aware and to save those that we can save.
Well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna save her, and you can stay down here and play general all you want. I swear, you you and your betrothed deserve each other. She kind of lifts with tears streaming down her face, just turns away from you in anger, and starts making her way further up the wreckage of stone.
And Ricci just kind of puts up a hand to his head and just goes, "Ah, damn it. Sueno, hang on." And I'll charge in right behind her.
So you and Sueno make your way up the landslide here, and it's tough going at first. The rock is still settling, still trying to find its new home here at the base of the canyon, and there's sharp rocks from the tumble, and it kind of cuts at your hands and your knees. Uh, it's just painful and then treacherous, as rocks will slip out from underneath your feet and your hands. Nothing is stable where you want it, but Sueno is pushing on like a woman possessed. But after a few moments, and at the top of this pile of rubble is your friend. You see the small stature of Gen, just covered in uh, just dust and sweat. It's caked onto her to the point where, yeah, she's just almost the one uniform color of just uh, the the limestone of the walls of the canyon and all the rock here that has been piled up. But past that, there's also blood. You can see she's got a gash on her head, and it 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 doesn't look good. But you can see that it is still flowing. So there's probably still some. Uh,
There's a heartbeat.
there you go. Exactly. That she's still got bodily functions moving at this point. You're not sure how much, but it's more than just the settling of blood of a body. It's, and everywhere where she is caked in dirt and grime, there's still fresh blood kind of pouring from a head wound.
Then, yeah, I rush forward and just try to get there as quick as possible to assess, one, how bad is it? Two, how?
Right? Yeah. Just the odds of this happening in your mind is just beyond you. That you look up and she's fallen from a height of, I mean, it's archers would have trouble making a shot at this distance with any regularity. But there she is. So she's fallen from this height, and this should normally have just ended a person's life. You've heard of tales that of just uh, miraculous situations where people have taken falls from rooftops or pagodas, even people that have been working on scaffolding and still somehow survive from great heights. But it's uncommon. It's definitely one of the stories that is shared within the medical community back in Rokugan, but it's often not a good prognosis. But you get there, and Sueno already has Gen uh, kind of wrapped up in her arms and her head in her lap, and she kind of looks at you with just pleading, tearing eyes, just looking at you for any amount of help. Sueno has some very basic first aid skills, but this is something that is beyond her at this point. And
I've already got the medical pouch already open and starting to pull through and starting to look for just any kind of unguent that I have that might be able to
Mhm.
stop like a head wound.
Sure.
Because
So yeah,
they're
you're gonna find coagulants, some powders that you have, maybe some dried mushrooms or whatnot that you and your apothecary teacher has taught you to prepare.
but then I'm just gonna look over and just see what I can do, and then just start applying whatever external bandaging I can do. Just to, you know, we don't like blood. We want it inside, so I want to keep it inside.
There you go.
So bandages, anything like that is what I'm going to be focused on right now. But I am very much aware that a head wound is a head wound.
Yes. So yeah, you can uh, go ahead and make me a medicine to earth check to stop the bleeding, or there was something about one of your medical pieces of equipment, right? One of your items that you had.
Right? Yeah, I do have the medicine pouch itself, which does allow me to stop the bleeding condition.
Ah, well, there you go. Okay, so yeah, you stop the bleeding condition. At this point, she is unconscious, um, which you probably want to keep her at for the time being. I don't think you want to try and hit her with anything that might awaken her at this point in the condition her body is at. Um, she does have like I said, a fairly nasty head wound. It is a permanent injury to void. Um,
Ooh.
but yeah, you'll have to assess that more when she's or if she becomes conscious again later. Um, but for that, I think we're just gonna go ahead and have you make a uh, TN3 uh, medicine check here to stabilize her and get her ready to come down off the pile of rubble here.
Very good. So a medicine of 4 and my earth of 3.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's 3 successes, 1 opportunity, and 1 strife.
All right. How do
And
you want to spend your opportunity on this one?
well, Earth is all about being cautious and being careful. And so what I like to do is go ahead and use the opportunity and try to go ahead and move Gin and coincidentally Sueno off of this giant rock pile that might collapse further.
Oh, sure. Yeah, to mitigate danger and all that stuff. Yeah, get the injured party down without any additional risk to themselves. And yeah, because yeah, that's one of the worst things is how do you save someone in a dangerous situation without harming them anymore? Absolutely, I think an Earth opportunity to facilitate that is an excellent idea.
And that's what I'll
So
go with.
yeah, with that, you and Sueno, with under your guidance there, move again as carefully as possible, being careful to cradle the head and not to disrupt it or injure her any further. and you get her down towards the bottom, and there waiting for you are Hayate and Minato, and they help get her moved to one of the carts. They've kind of set out uh, some bolts of cotton and have kind of made a makeshift stretcher uh, with the fabric. It's not very rigid, but it's enough to let the four of you move her much more efficiently back to the caravan. And
And
look ahead.
when we get back to the caravan, I definitely want to take Sueno aside a little bit and just say, like, I don't know how she survived that type of fall. Um, I've seen I've seen and heard of worse stories than this. It is nothing but miraculous that she was able to survive something like that. However, one thing to note, she's been inflicted with a very traumatic head wound. Um, the mind's a fickle thing, and it's very fragile in a lot of regards. She may not be able to recover from something like this. I have done all that I can do with the medicines I currently have, but this is something that's going to take a little bit of time, if it does happen to recover.
Sueno looks up at you with her one good eye, tears coming down it, and says, "So few of us are the same after events like this. It's all right. She's still Gin," and she kind of reaches down to clasp one of her hands as she uh, cradles her in her lap in the back of one of the carts, and she finds that there is a uh, small hair ornament in her hand, one that she's never seen before. Uh, really, just nothing more than just a decorative stick, uh, but one that Gin is latched onto and won't relinquish, even in her unconscious state here.
But we, yes, trauma changes us all. Um, and, but I want to at least give you that little forewarning that she may have lost some of her memories on this. It could be recent, like as recent as like a few moments. It could be years. And it could be she's lost it from a decade ago. She could not remember us. Like anything is possible when it comes to something like this. I just I need you to be prepared in case something like that it comes to pass.
Let's not go chasing any anything worse than what we know. Let's don't tell me she's gonna forget about me.
I'm not saying that it will happen, but I'm saying that it could.
With that, she just kind of gives you a nod, but you could see that yeah, your words have kind of like yeah hit deep, and that the fear and anxiety of what could have befallen uh, in the woman she loves is is a powerful thing at this point. Whether she's still the person she knew or not, only time will tell. At this point, all she can hope is that she'll survive and that you've all made it out of here intact, or at least as intact as you can at this point.
We're not there yet. But I leave Sueno to come to terms with this as she does. And I'll continue with the evacuation through the canyon and making sure that we have everyone that we're supposed to have.
You go ahead and take a place uh, within the leadership of the unicorn, uh, one where they are still celebrating you for having come through for them and led them through this situation where uh, leadership was, how should we say, strained at best, and that your your banner still waves uh, with with victory, and even in all of this dust and chaos, it still uh, shines almost with a light of its own as you take command and lead the caravan out. As you head further and further east along the sand road, with your enemies now locked off behind you, and your return home before you. It is finally time to return to Rokugan. Moving through the gardens of Kyuden Doji, the crisp air that mixes between winter and spring, as it's just a bit after New Year's now, just still chills you. You're still not sure whether to be wearing the heavy kimono of winter or move into something more for spring. It's always a bit of an issue, but here you are, happily watching over your friend, your companion, Sueno. She has finally been given an opportunity by the Doji family to become elevated to the ranks of a full samurai. You've just finished the investiture ceremony where she's received her wakizashi from Doji Satsume and the rest of the Doji Kuge. And now she is busy glad handing with all of the other dignitaries and guests who are bringing gifts and well wishes to her in this wonderful celebration. But it's all a bit much for you again. And as you move throughout the gardens, you catch sight of Ricci, who seems to be mobbed by a whole passel of men and women busily and excitedly asking them questions about their adventures in the burning sands. And not long that you see someone from the back of that group kind of glance around and very nervously start to make eye contact with you, and then look away as she realizes who you might be, and kind of reaches into uh, a sleeve of her kimono and produces a small bound folio, a pillow book, and brings it over towards you and says, "Pardon me, but I couldn't help but notice that you are Doji Gin, right? You were with uh, Richie-san and his adventures. In fact, you wrote them all down, didn't you?"
Yes, I was on the journey with Richie Sama.
And you wrote this book, didn't you? And she kind of like hands it towards you, and you see that it is indeed one of the many different printings that has come about of your work, pillow books, some with more or less outlandish woodblock prints of the different scenarios that you wrote about in the book there, in your journeys.
Uh, yes, uh, I am grateful that you have enjoyed reading Adventures in the Burning Sands.
Oh, I have. It's my favorite. I've read it at least 8 times so far. Is it all true? All of your adventures and the Ricci's, and she kind of just blushes deeply. His daring and his valor and honor.
Richi-sama showed extraordinary valor and honor during our adventures in the Burning Sands. That is absolutely true.
And he brought down an entire mountain pass on the enemies of Rokugan just with one of his roars.
It cannot be proven how the mountain pass came down specifically, but surely the gods were favoring Richi-sama when it happened.
Oh my goodness! And she kind of looks over and sees him kind of passing through the crowd and coming towards you, and she just gets more and more flustered and turns just all shades of red, and just tries to look over at him, and then just scurriedly just walks right past him with hardly even saying a word, just kind of a meep as he passes by her within just a hand's breadth, and she's just about ready to swoon, but cannot bring herself to look him in the eye or speak to him despite everything. And yeah, she's just off and gone as he closes in and finally has a chance to speak with you.
Gin, it's good to see you again. Now that we have time to talk.
I did not know if you would ever break free of your many admirers. I'm sure you didn't expect to receive that sort of greeting in Kundoji, but thank you for coming.
I was never this popular south of the sands. This is a new experience.
Well, I would be careful about which copies of pillow books you pick up. There's some very talented artists in the crane.
I that's a very specific warning.
Mm-hmm. I didn't write it in. I promise. It's just creative
Write it
liberties
in?
happen.
I'm
Well,
sorry, what? What do you mean write it in?
well, obviously I wrote down all of our adventures. You knew I was doing that. I've been doing that since I woke up, and I had all my notes from before. We had to give a full report to Satsume-sama or Satsume Dono
Yes.
when we arrived in the arrived, right?
Yes, although I highly doubt that Doji-sama would be willing to write a pillow book about this.
Well, he didn't.
Well, that's a mild relief.
The copy of my works that I had created to report what happened and the extra detail rung for those interested for scientific study reasons, because we did see an awful lot of very interesting insects. um Apparently it's become rather popular in Kudendoji as the copy circulated, and as such things sometimes do when placed in the hands of many talented writers and artists among my clan, additional copies were created with artistic liberties potentially added.
That explains a lot of the questions I've been getting.
Mhm.
Some less polite than normal.
Less polite, please.
Well,
Uh,
it's always strange for people to come up to me and ask to see my katana.
well, Yes. As I said, be wary of the ones that are illustrated.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
I'm
okay. Yep.
sorry, Ricci-san. I'm sorry, Ricci-san. It's just once an artistic work is out in the world, there is no telling where it will go next.
That I believe to be an understatement.
Uh, I've heard that Yasuki are trading copies along the wall.
On on the wall? Okay. Yeah, that's n- well, yeah, okay. That is the strangest thing I've heard all day.
But I'm hoping that you are enjoying your fame, even without my pillow book. I've heard stories coming from the unicorn of the masterful general who led their forces in battle against the Caliph's shining army.
Yes, I have indeed received a few, uh, well-mannered gifts from the unicorn. It's been, it's been interesting to say the least. I have so many saddles. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them.
But not a unicorn horse yet?
Oh Lord, no. I don't think they would send me anything so grand. At least I hope not.
Well, I'm happy for you, Ricci-san. The unicorn, I've done my duty, reported to Lord Satsume, as you know, as soon as we returned. But the unicorn don't care much for me. I've not gotten any specific threats, but they don't think much of those who flee from battle, so I can hardly expect it.
Well, I have attempted to help out with that. When it is asked, I generally mention that it was a very hectic time, and uh, I don't dare impose that the horses may have gotten scared, but I you were not the uh, mm, equestrian that the unicorn are. That's the best that I could say.
It's all right. I'll be okay. You know, I'm just happy to be alive. um,
As am I. You're looking much better than when we were at the report for Satsuma Dona.
Thank you. I've been working hard. It took quite a few months to uh, be able to walk again, but now I only have, bouts of vertigo, and other than that, I am doing very well. Testimony to your great healing skills.
I would make sure not to mention the vertigo to any of the unicorn. They may try to put you on another horse.
I will stick with Heart of Oak, my family's steed. It was good to find him again. Apparently, he ran all the way back from Kitsune Lands when I did not show up. Went back to his own stable, so he's rather stubborn like that.
Wow, I was not expecting that. That's quite actually good to hear.
I was glad that he was well. I'm sure that the fox would have gladly taken in a unicorn bred steed if one happened to be remaining in their stables. Talking about the fox, have you heard anything from Hayate recently?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Oh,
I
really?
had to make a trip to Unicorn Land to deliver a relatively similar report to one of their one of their leadership, and
Mhm.
I came across Hayate on the way to Unicorn Lands. Uh, he's planning on making a proposal
Oh, to Tomo-san?
to Tomo-san. Yes.
Will he be joining the Shinjo family then? Do you know?
If things go well.
My.
So I don't foresee there being any issues, but you know how politics go.
Yes, I wish for every happiness for him. And what of your own happiness? How fares your engagement after so many months? I've not heard a word, which surprised me.
That's a little surprising to hear as well. Well, mm, the best way to put it is that Akari isn't quite well happy with my survival, I guess would be the best way to put it.
What do you mean?
I- well, she was rightfully so. She and the rest of the family thought I had died. Because we were out
Hmm.
for several months, no trace of what happened. Apparently, none of the letters actually got through. Go figure. But I, I came back to the estate in the middle of a negotiation with a new marriage proposal.
Oh,
Um, Needless to say, that threw a bit of a wrench in things, and it was a little bit of the talk of the local lion courts for a bit.
oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, she was not thrown in the best of light for a few seasons. Although I think she's starting to come around into it. I think she's very happy to have uh, someone of note in the family. Like, as before, I was just a lowly medic and not, a name to be made.
Not to
But
General Ricci of the Sands?
well, I'm definitely not the. She doesn't seem to be as upset to be betrothed to the Violet Lion as the unicorn have started to say. I think that name has gotten around the Akoto lands as well. Thanks to Takayuki, he's running with it. He's having too much fun with this. But who can say, Ikomas, you can't keep them quiet unless you absolutely have to, or with a lot of drink. There's been a lot of sake between the two of us.
So, the Violet Lion, have you then been able to take a place where you will embrace your Akodo destiny and take up the leadership of armies full time, or will you
No,
continue your healing?
I'm I'm unfortunately, and Ricci kind of looks around to make sure nobody's close nearby. He
Mhm.
lowers his voice even a little bit more. He says, I I'm afraid I've been stymied a little bit on that.
What do you mean?
Sensei is very upset. Very,
Oh,
very upset. And Ricci's face hardens a little bit. He goes, he he completely blocked Kitsune Hikaru's application to become a medic.
oh no.
Something along the lines of his hands had tasted blood and it's not worth wasting the effort again.
I'm so sorry. Maybe I can write to the Asahina. I know that Hikaru isn't a Shugenja, but there are healers among the Asahina who are not Shugenja, and they could find something, though I know that you had hoped to. She hesitates. remain close to his family.
He definitely does want to remain close to Kitsune-san, and unfortunately, his Ginpuku is in the next few weeks, and he will be placed into a bushi role. This was the last attempt for him, and in thanks to the actions of a pacifist, another will be made to kill.
I'm so sorry. I know that you had made a promise, and even if you didn't intend to break it, that is very difficult.
Yeah, yeah, it's something that weighs on me still. There's not much I can do. Like I this is one of those times where I'm just completely out of my element. You can put a sword in my hand, you can put thread and needle in my hand, you can put an army under my command, but when it comes to the courts, I am just utterly lost.
Well, even being placed in a bushi school doesn't necessarily mean it is the end of things. I will see what I can do for what it's worth. I have nowhere near the glory you have won on the battlefield. I admit I struggle to even remember the end of that battlefield, that battle. I remember looking down on you on the field of your victory, but it's very blurry afterwards. Uh, I suppose.
You must have had some sort of attachment, and Ricci points up to the little stick in Gen's hair and says, I remember seeing that. You were holding onto it, something fierce.
I don't really understand this yet. I I know I held it when I was waking up, and I know it is important to me such that, like, she lowers her voice. You may you may think I'm crazy to say this, but if I remove it, she takes the hair stick that she wears, which it just looks like a stick, a stick without bark, bent and twisted, that is in her hair like a hair ornament. And she takes it out and she holds it in her fingers. If I take this out and leave it on my dresser for another hair ornament, I find it in my hair after I've gone out. It means something. I know in my heart it is very important. And I know in my heart it has some sort of spiritual power, some spiritual strength, which I know it's me. I've never been good at reconciling with the kami, but with the fortunes, but it means something, but I don't know what.
That's something that's a little worrying because we found that in, I mean, call it what it is, the heathen lands. Are you sure that's not something that their deities have imposed upon you?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I cannot prove it without a doubt. So I don't think so, though. It feels right. This is not very scientific.
Not at all.
Sounds she sounds sort of
You
frustrated
might
and
you
shakes her
might want
head.
to have one of those Asahina take a look, because again, that is a
I
little concerning.
I suppose I should. I have been prodded by many Asahina after my injuries. Not to say that you did anything wrong. It's just you're not a Shigenja.
Oh, not at
And
all.
not,
I no aptitude with the kami, and there's only but so much you can do in open open terrain such as that.
but none have said anything about it or noticed anything. But perhaps, perhaps if ever I go down to the Asahina temples, then they could tell me more. Uh, it's It's not important. What's important is that we made it to Rokugan, made it to the Empire, we made our report. But, I did hear that Satsume Dono has uh, sent the 6th and the 8th Imperial Legion to Sorrow's Path to
Oh.
defend the border, and that's what's truly important. They're joining Shinjo Ato and Sanai Sama's own unicorn troops. So hopefully something will come of that.
I had heard that the legions were on the move, but I hadn't heard where or for what reason. They must be keeping that very secretive. But I'm glad to have the information regardless of where it comes from.
So the other rumor I had heard, though I suppose that you would know more than I, is that with the good favor that you have found with the unicorn, that the unicorn were interested in potentially forming a greater peace with the lion. Um, Maybe even a marriage between Shinjo Domino and one of your lion daimyo?
Yeah, that has been uh, an interesting topic over the course of the court. Uh, I well, not to brag too much about it. Um, but that was one of the reasons I got to go visit the Unicorn Lands, was
Oh,
because they needed me to be there to help clarify some things and hopefully talk a little bit more specifics about some things. I wasn't there to do much more of a than just give an account. I let the Akomas do more of the talking there, but that was a major point to bring up, was something that we could do to potentially amend some of the relations between the clans.
a marriage between the unicorn champion and Iyakomo would be quite a feather in your cap, at least in terms of, you know, the level of activities that you are involved with for sure. Uh, you say you have little interest in politics, but your glory is such that politics has plenty of interest in you, it seems.
That it definitely does seem to come my way, doesn't it? Uh, little strange in that regard, but I guess that's how the fate has laid out for me.
Well,
So,
uh,
what about you?
ter-
Has anything else come about for you? I know your family must have been extremely worried, and I haven't heard anything about that since then.
well, my grandparents also thought that I was dead. Um, and as you know, my immediate family is gone. Uh, but now that I have returned, much to crushing the hopes of my brother-in-law, potentially. Um, my grandparents' main desire is to come together and assure that I am married and producing an heir to the family as quickly as possible. I am supposed to be told who I will be married to in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, there's no other sort of interview or at least meeting him?
Well, I have to trust but my grandparents will find someone suitable. She glances over her shoulder to where Sueno is inside the palace greeting people, though it is understood, no matter what, that it would not be an affair of the heart. But it does not need to be. My grandparents are contentious between them. They always have been. So if they have settled on someone, the chances of finding someone suitable beyond that one is oh, it's all right. This is
Oh,
how these things go. I'm sure it'll be very professional.
well, I hope that is the extent of it. Because that
It
is
will be
a,
enough.
you know, no, I understand. I completely understand that.
We cannot all be Bishi romantic heroes like you, Richi-san. Looking at the fangirls. Y- Just um quite a few romantic subplots regarding your relationship with a certain kitsune uh
As
achieved
you
a
say
position
that,
of
his
prominence.
eyes, as you say that, his eyes go a little wide and say, "Did you tell them about Miyuki?
Not that kitsune.
Which Kitsune? Oh, oh." And he just kind of has a look on his face and goes, "Oh, huh." And like this is the first time he's considered it, and it's like, "Huh, oh, huh, okay." Anyway, is that what's in those pillow books?
Some of the illustrations are vivid,
Ah, gotcha. Well,
but very
g-
tasteful. Crane artisans are the best.
good for us, I guess.
I thought it would
I
be better to forewarn you.
I do appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm just not sure how to properly communicate it to Hayate-san.
You know, I have an idea about that. I do not wish to speak for him and Tomo-san. I'm certain that we would be invited uh to the wedding, and I believe that would be a wonderful gift. A
Very well.
treasured memory of our time together.
Very well. Um, I
Just make sure to get one of the good ones.
well, I can procure one for you. I can
No,
procure one for
it's
you,
good
I'm
for me.
sure.
No, we're good. We're good. I There is no need for that. Thank you.
Uh, Very well. I think I just fear that Hayate-san might be a little rural for such things, but we shall see. But until until then, I think that I'm hoping that I will be free to leave home further than this soon before Hayate-san's wedding, if that comes before my own. Otherwise, you may receive another invitation to come to mine. Though, honestly, I think my parents, all things considered, are not as interested in making it a large celebration as they were before I ventured out into the burning sands. They more want it to be done with swiftly.
Uh, I yeah, I can understand that. Um, I there are certain rites and rituals that need to be observed for the Matsu, and I'm not made privy to many of them. So, I can only imagine how well yours must be going.
Well, you have to promise to write to me. I know you're incredibly busy and swamped with adoring fans, but please don't neglect my letters too long.
Of course not. I will endeavor to write as often as I can.
That will be enough.
Pardon us, Samurai Song, but it is time for the feast portion, and your presence is requested. And several attendants are kind of coming around to gather all the various attendees of the investiture ceremony to come and join them for dinner.
Always busy, huh?
Yes, I suppose it is time for us to raise our own glasses to Sueno now that she is fully samurai. And again, pauses for a moment. You know, I do believe that you were fully as heroic and noble as these young fans of yours believe. But I admit I may have played it up just a little bit so that Sueno's role could also grow in glory so that she may take her place because she's earned it.
I believe she has. Do you know what her next post will be? Because I mean, obviously she won't be a minder for you. At least I don't believe she would be.
Uh, I think we shall continue together in the same line of work that we were doing before. We've proven
Oh,
a pretty good team. So,
oh, excellent.
though she may not carry my books for me while I do my studies of various crop plagues and so on. But there are many things to do on behalf of the crane. I'm sure that my lord will have duties to be useful in the same area as I. But to dinner. You have
To
never
dinner.
had a feast. You have never had a feast at Kutendoji before, so truly this will be a series of delights for one such as yourself.
I am curious to see what kind of food you have to offer here. I will be completely honest with you, Gin. I have been looking forward to this.
Then I hope that we live up to all your expectations.
Thank you all for joining us on this incredible journey over the last 2 seasons. We've experienced significant changes both in front of the mic and behind the scenes. As we move into Season 3, we're excited to announce even more major transformations. While we had hoped to start this process earlier, some setbacks and medical issues have delayed us. Fortune and Strife is looking to expand its cast and invites you to be a part of our show. We are launching a submission process from October 7th, 2024 to October 31st, 2024. We can't wait to hear from our amazing community. Please send your submission to fortuneandstrife@gmail.com and include the following information: your full name, your Discord ID, your email address, previous experience with actual plays, podcasting, voice acting, or acting, your L5R RPG experience, how long you've played, what systems, things like that. It's not required, but it's helpful. Motivation: what draws you to work with Fortune and Strife? What kind of audio recording equipment do you have? What's your availability like to work with this project? Any additional information, experience, skills, details that would make you a compelling candidate. Remember, though, the deadline is October 31st, 2024. We look forward to collaborating with talented individuals who share our passion for storytelling. Thank you for your continued support, and we can't wait to share what's next. Best, the Fortune and Strife team. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, your host and narrator, thanking you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday. If you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/courtgames.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Ricci. You can find me on my personal accounts on Twitter at ChurcherGames or on Twitch, also as ChurcherGames. You can find the show on the web at courtgamespod.com, on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and on Twitter at L5RFNS. If you would like to contact us, you can email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
This is Jeannie, aka Kikita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. You can find me at my blog at the Winter Garden of the Kikita website, along with helpful materials for the RPG, and also on Twitter at White Veils or on Facebook. If you like, I am also found on the Court Games RPG podcast as a writer for Emerald Legacy, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
Hi there, I'm Eric Schock, and I will be guesting as Ide Minato.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with D20 Radio Network and the Rokugani Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com